Untitled-2 podcast. My name is Connor.
My name is Ash.
So, just before we start anything,
Okay.
although technically we've already started something.
Yeah.
A couple of podcasts ago, I was talking about King's Quest.
Yeah.
And I was really excited about it. And in my excitement, I may have told some false information.
Okay.
And I hate that. It's been bothering me ever since we recorded that episode.
Now's the time to set the record
so
straight.
now I want to clear it up. So there was a character in it called Manny who was played by the guy from Princess Bride.
Yeah.
And I said that they had like a duel and it was like word for word like the film and all this other shit. It was all wrong. I don't know why I misremembered it that way. I think because the characters are so similar, it just melded together in my head, and I was like, "Oh, that must have been King's Quest." So
right.
I just want to clear that up because it really annoyed me that I was wrong. But since we're talking about King's Quest, I've got 100% on it now.
Okay.
Which was cool. One of the other false bits of information I gave was that it had a plot, and I was going to get it,
But it doesn't have a plot.
It doesn't have a plot, which you told me as I was halfway through playing it.
Yeah.
So. Cool. So I just want to talk about it a little bit, some of the things, because when I was talking about it before and I was really excited about it, I'd only played like half of episode 1, which is probably the best episode, to be honest. It doesn't mean the others are shit. It just because they introduce you to all these characters in the first one, and they spend a lot of time with character development and making you come to love those characters, which is probably why it's the best one. It's like the first Avengers and the first Guardians will always be the best ones because
subjective, but yeah, I get what you mean.
We can't replicate that feeling of all these
Is it
characters.
subjective or objective? I always get those mixed up. If something's objectively good, it means it's undeniably good. If something's subjectively good, it means it's in your opinion, right?
Is it not objectively, is in your opinion?
I'm sure it's subjectively, because it's subject to like people's opinions and stuff.
Right.
Whereas objectively means like everyone agrees.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I agree that whatever you're trying to say is correct, but also my point is that you can't replicate that feeling of the being introduced to that group of characters for the first time.
Yeah.
Sort of thing, which is definitely what King's Quest episode 1 is like.
All I remember from episode 1 is that duel that you misrepresented in the episode, and in our podcast episode, and that race that you had to do where was his name
really
Whisper.
Funny. Whisper can do it.
Yeah, and every time you fooled him, he was like, "What?"
Yeah, it was great. I absolutely love that character, and Acorn as well. But I don't think you ever saw Acorn.
I saw Acorn.
All right, yeah, he was great. But episode 3, which is the second best episode, is about like finding your queen. So there's two women to choose from.
That's where I saw it.
It's really good. There's a bit which I think you just missed, where so basically you're in a Rapunzel type tower.
Yeah.
That you can't get out of because there's this force field that's keeping you in there. And Whisper shows up because somebody sent him to rescue you. And it comes into the tower, and then you have this dialogue which is just hilarious. Like he's saying, "There's women here. Whisper should hide himself or he'll never stand a chance," and stuff like that. And he writes you a poem, but it's like an ad-lib thing. So you've got to like provide words. Like he asks you for a body part and a type of cheese and stuff, and it always turns out this terrible poem. But when he turns to leave, King Graham's like, "Whisper, wait!" But he walks out anyway, and he's just stood on the balcony ready to jump off, and he's like, "How did you get out?" And he's like, "Nobody loves Whisper like Whisper loves Whisper." He's such a good character. So basically, he broke the spell because he was in true love with himself.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really cool.
That's amazing. Well, that's just like a funny solution to a problem.
Yeah.
Like, if that was a movie, it'd end up where, like, the two people eventually fall in love and then they end up breaking the spell and shit.
Yeah.
But then this guy just comes in who's like a narcissist and he breaks the spell.
Yeah,
it's like you can plan for every eventuality, but, like, you just can't predict something like that.
Yeah.
I love that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the whole story is really heartfelt and, like, warming, and The last chapter is just depressing because the last chapter is a story about a quest that Graham went on when he was older, but he's sort of suffering from mild dementia. So like parts of the world are missing, or he'll remember something wrongly, and his granddaughter will remind him it wasn't a bell, it was a horn and stuff like that.
Wow.
And like the objects will change in the scene, and yeah, it's super depressing. Like seeing his like stories deteriorating like that. And it basically boils down to he's not done. He doesn't want to pass away because he had so many great adventures and he wants more.
Yeah.
But then he settles for, oh, I've told you my stories. My stories will live on with you. So
Yeah.
it's really nice. Episode 4 was really shit.
All right.
Because the whole game is like these puzzles where you find an object and like you try and figure out where this object fits in. And
classic point and click stuff.
By the time you figure out what it's for, there's like 7 more objects in your inventory, and it's just classic point and click. Basically, it's really fun. But episode 4, there was none of that. It was just this labyrinth of puzzles, and it was just back to back puzzles while they tried to wedge story in between. But there was a bit where I was talking to one of the characters because you have to talk to your son as much as possible all the time. Every time you got an opportunity to do so to get one of the trophies.
Right.
And he actually said at one point, shouldn't we be collecting random objects and trying to figure out where they go? Why are we just doing these lame puzzles over and over? And I'm like, exactly. How can you be self-aware that you're making a really shit episode and just keep going with it?
Yeah, that was a bit weird.
In the last episode, I think, there's this really, really cool part where Graham passes out. And he has like this fever dream of the original King's Quest from PC. So there's a section from King's Quest 1 where it's like really MS-DOS style. And then a section from King's Quest 5, which is like really beautiful sprite artwork and stuff. And there was an Easter egg in that one where there's like a bone xylophone. And if you play it, skeletons come out and start dancing. And they put that into this. So that you can get a trophy for doing it, basically, if you find that xylophone and interact with it. Which I thought was really cool.
That was really cool.
Yeah, I'm just really happy with it. And I'm sad that I've 100%ed it, because there's literally no reason for me to play it now.
Yeah, it'll be one of those games where, like, in a few years, you'll be like, oh, that was really good, I should go back and play it.
It'll definitely be one of those games where, even though I've done everything there is to do, I'll still get the urge to play it some more.
Yeah. I do that with, like...
maybe episode 4.
I do that with, like, The Last of Us and Uncharted and that. Even though I've platinumed it all and there's nothing left to do, I'll go back just for the story.
Yeah.
And Mass Effect. I love Mass Effect.
Yeah, you have like a yearly Mass Effect thing.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to close the blinds behind us because the sun's coming in and I can see you being blinded by it, and the reflection of your glasses is blinding me too.
Cool. Careful of that can there, mate. You might knock it off.
Nah, we're cool. We're cool. We're all good. It's very ombre in here now, isn't it? It's like an orange glow of the sun. Have you noticed that even if a room's cold, when there's this like orange glow in a room, you feel so warm?
It's a psychology thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, of course it is. It's like if you're cold and you watch something that's like based in the desert or something, you'll feel less cold even though you're not. And vice versa.
It's like colours can make you feel things as well.
Yeah.
Like, is it a particular, like, proper dark orange makes people angry?
Really?
And there's, like, this really weird red that makes you hungry or something like that?
No, the fast food red, as it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was talking about this at work recently, actually. It's weird that you bring it up, but like red and yellow, you know, like McDonald's colours, are associated with hunger. Like if a brand uses that, then you know it's food.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. And like cleaning products and shower products and stuff should always use white and blue because they're like clean colours.
Yeah.
Or if you want something to look prestigious and luxurious, you'll use purple and black.
Gold.
Yeah.
See a lot of gold and stuff like that.
But yeah, we were saying at work whether that is just a psychological thing that our brains
Yeah, with like
make a connection, or if because so many like McDonald's became successful, so everybody else was like, oh, we'll use their colours, and then before you know it, we all associate those colours with food.
I think it's more the latter. Like,
Yeah, that's what I said.
because it can't be that McDonald's just looked out into making them their colours.
Yeah.
Or like did the research and was like, right, that's our colours. They might have just chose red and gold, maybe because they were going for a prestigious look with the M thing.
Yeah. Golden arches.
And then just over the years, people started associating that with fast food and whatnot. And I know purple is considered, regal and prestigious because it used to be like the royal colours, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because back in the day, it was very hard to find blue pigments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And obviously, purple's in that respect as well. And obviously, once they found a cheaper option for it, or everyone got it, then purple became less regal, but it still kind of is.
Mm-hmm.
And the only people who could afford it before it became, available for the mass public is rich people, royalty and stuff. So I think it's more the latter.
Yeah, I
Things
agree.
have influenced us to see it in that way.
Because I don't see any like evolutionary reason why we would associate. Like you'd think red would be danger or something like that.
Well, they do use red for danger a lot.
Well, yeah, that's true. But that's because it stands out more.
Yeah.
Green tends to blend in because we can see more shades of green than any other colour.
It's like there's a 2 colours for go on the traffic light in there. Based on which,
some of them are blue.
Yeah. Some countries they're all blue. Some countries they're all green.
Yeah.
In our country, there's green and blue, which is a bit weird.
Yeah, I always just assumed they were turquoise, but I have seen like blue traffic lights in England. So,
but yeah, like when we use, is it orange for not red stop, and then there's like get ready, shit's about to go.
Yeah.
And there's other countries that use yellow, and
some countries don't have it.
Yeah, some countries don't have it,
which I find strange. Because like surely that is an important part, like getting ready to stop or getting ready to go.
Yeah.
Like there is some preparation that needs to happen there.
It's like a reminder for you to like get your timing ready, like when it goes,
it's just efficient, isn't it?
When it goes amber, you get ready, you start putting shit into gear,
your handbrake off or whatever,
so you can go. Whereas if it just immediately goes straight to green or red,
you'll just be like, oh fuck.
I'm pretty sure some countries have like brown on the traffic lights as well. I don't know.
Why? Surely you won't be able to see that very well.
I don't know.
Like, what if it's like dusty? It just gets covered up.
Yeah, enough about psychology and colours, mate. It's a fucking weird thing again. So obviously you studied colour theory at one point in your fucking life.
Yeah.
It's such a ridiculous subject.
It does. It goes so deep. Like.
And there's always like, there's no one definitive answer to anything. And It's just like, wait, so I just spent like the last month learning about all these psychological rules for these colours, and you're telling me that it's not necessarily 100% right.
Yeah, exactly.
It can be used for other things and all that shit. Yeah. It's like, so now I've got to like unlearn what I've just learned.
Yeah, it's all about like experimentation and stuff.
Yeah, basically you go through like years of studying colour theory to find out that colours universally, you can use it fucking for anything.
Yeah,
there are no rules.
Yeah, exactly. I think with most people, it starts off with colour theory, and then they'll start to experiment in. What the fuck happened to me? They'll start experimenting with colour harmonies and then you'll end up with a style that's your style. Like I always use purple for shadows and stuff like that. So
yeah.
Speaking of colours. This is a transition. This is a segue.
Thank you for letting me know.
Well, it's a very shit segue into Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
because so there was recently an Easter sale on PlayStation Network,
right?
And I wanted some games that were easy plats because I've got some catching up to do.
Yeah,
and so Guardians of the Galaxy Telltale series was one of those games that I got. I got some others, but I'll talk about them eventually. I'm not going to list them out. So I just wanted to talk about this because it's pretty fucking lame.
Is it awful?
I don't know if it is a lame game or it's only... Well, I say game, but it's a Telltale thing.
Experience,
yeah. I don't know if it's shit because it's shit or if it's shit because it's going up against the movies, which are obviously really good.
It's a mix of the two, but mostly it's shit because it's shit.
Yeah.
I've not played it, but that's what I assume.
So I'll tell you a few things about it so that you can sort of come to your own
it's
conclusions.
Yeah, conclusion.
Fuck happened? What is going on?
Electrolytes, mate. Get some electrolytes. It's universally accepted that after they released The Walking Dead, the first season of it, every game after that's been bad. Like, not as good.
Wasn't Wolf Among Us after?
Yeah. A lot of people didn't play that, though, and I feel like that's an unfair...
I think that's their best one.
I fucking love that
100% their best one.
I absolutely loved it. I love the whole story and everything.
Season 2 is not far off, but I don't want them to
fuck it up.
Bring in all the new mechanics and stuff that have just sort of... Well, actually, I feel like they've taken things away because I played Wolf Among Us recently, and it's so much better than like the Game of Thrones one, in which none of your choices matter. Like the game's just gonna go where it's gonna go anyway. But yeah, whatever. So yeah, this Game of Thrones. I'll tell you a few things about it.
Okay, Game of Thrones.
No, Game of Thrones. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
it's one letter off. The abbreviated version. Yeah. So the universally enjoyed awesome mix from the film.
Yeah.
The soundtrack was called The Awesome Mix.
Yeah.
When you start up Guardians of the Galaxy, you are faced with this like animatic thing that goes on behind the menu. And one of the first shots is a close-up on Star-Lord's Walkman.
Yeah.
And you can see the tape inside it. You can see the label on the tape, and it says Rad Mix.
Okay.
It's like budget awesome mix. Like straight off the bat, it's like, okay, this is what this game's going to be.
Yeah, it just sets the tone for the rest of the game.
Yeah, definitely. The music playing in the background is definitely from the same era as the awesome mix music.
The licenses are a bit cheaper.
It's just, it's a lot cheaper. It's just not as good. Like some of the music is actually annoying sometimes. Like there's one song that is just really repetitive. Like it's the same hook over and over and over again. And it's like, oh, stop. Just get me through this scene. They tried to keep the humor alive.
But failed miserably.
Like they tried to keep the characteristics of each character. Like Drax doesn't get humor. Like he takes everything really literally. And Star-Lord is really... like makes quips, a bit like Spider-Man. And Rocket is just like the gruff, sort of funny guy.
Yeah.
They're close. It feels like I've got a Chinese version of the movie.
Bootleg.
Yeah, it's...
which China is famous for. We might have to do an episode on that.
So the best way that I could find to describe the sense of humor in the game is as though it's a Spider-Man fan fiction.
Oh.
Like somebody's tried to write Spider-Man's famous sense of humor.
Yeah, and they're just
But they're like 12 years old and they don't get it at all.
Yeah.
It's exactly like that. It's just really cringy, like almost all the time. I put a note here, but I've already said it. Characters are goofy budget versions of the movie characters. Like, they obviously couldn't get the license to make a game of the movie, but they got a license to make a game of the comics.
And they wanted to make it look like the movie as much as possible.
Yeah, they tried to make it like the movie, but it's not. Like, the characters don't even look like themselves in the movie. And the first time I saw Star-Lord take his helmet off, I was just like, oh, no.
I just wish Telltale would stop getting other people's IPs and making games about them and make something that they've come up with 100% themselves.
I don't want them to. If this is what they did with an IP which was like writes itself, basically, if this is what they did with it, then
I don't know. I think Guardians of the Galaxy is a hard IP to write for. I think they've struck gold twice. The second movie, everyone thinks it's not as good as the first one, but I think it just didn't improve on what the first one brought to it. I don't think that means it's a bad movie.
I don't think it's a bad movie at all, and I'm still in debate with myself as to whether I like it more than the first or the second one, because there are some. It does touch on some more emotional topics, and it doesn't shy away from. I wouldn't say the first film shied away from them, but whenever the film started to get even the tiniest bit emotional, it would like make a joke to slap you out of it.
Well,
but they really face emotion head on in the second one, which I think is
I put that down to the first one had to be really careful because not many people read the Guardians of the Galaxy comic books.
Yeah,
you know, and a lot of. I feel like now.
I dare say Telltale haven't read the comic books either.
I dare say now that I think probably the majority of Marvel fans now are people that have only watched the movies and they couldn't tell Batman from Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I feel like the comic book Marvel fans are a dying race, man. Like it's hard. It's like really awful, and so they have to be really careful with it. Guardians of the Galaxy now, with how. Because they couldn't just come off the bat and have Yondu die in the first movie.
Whoa, spoilers.
Guardians of the Galaxy's been out for a while now.
If you haven't seen it, then what are you doing?
So that's why they reserved it for the second one, so I don't know.
Speaking on what you were saying about like comic book fans being a dying race, like I used to be really into Marvel comics.
Yeah.
I still have some. In fact, I've got some I haven't even read yet. I just like towards the end of me reading them, I'd see one and then be like, "Oh, that's cool. I'll read that," but then never got around to it. And I think just the movies are easier to consume than the comics.
Yeah.
Like when you go to read a comic, you've got to be really like. I like to get graphic novels because it's complete.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard to jump into a story. And pick up all the lore that's around it. And
how long does it take you to read one issue of a comic? Like 20 minutes if you're slow.
Yeah,
and then that's it. You got to wait then for the next issue, and it could be weekly, it could be monthly, and you know it's fucked then.
But yeah, there's that, but also the you don't know which storyline the writer's going to pick from. Like I know a lot about Spider-Man, but if I read a modern Spider-Man comic, I wouldn't get fucking half of it, mate. They've changed so much. Like, he's died like 3 times.
I don't even think the modern Spider-Man comics are the best ones. I think Spider-Gwen's like proper doing really well for itself, innit?
Just going back to Guardians of the Galaxy game, just to finish up what I was saying. The choices are all really obvious. I've only played the first episode, chapter, I don't know what to call it. But by the end of that, I was actually kind of into it, and I kind of want to keep playing it. I probably am going to anyway because it's an easy plot. But you know, at the end of an episode, it tells you everybody's choices. Like usually on the Telltale game, there's quite like an even split, or like some choices are like really obvious, like 90%, like everybody's done that, or like 49 to 51% sort of thing. But all of the choices in the Guardians of the Galaxy, everybody was like 70 to 80% or above.
Right.
So like the choices were just really obvious. Like everybody's playing the game in the same way.
I wonder what it'd been like on day one though, because a lot of people do replay things and go through and find the best options and that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why the percentages are so high.
See, that's what I thought, because whenever when I was playing through Game of Thrones one, I'd get to the end and I'd see like I was in the minority for a choice, and I'd be like, oh shit, everybody's gone back and played this game, so they know all the right choices, and I fucked it until I realised that your choices don't matter. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that. I'm done now.
If you were to abbreviate Telltale's Guardians of the Galaxy, the game, would it be like TTGOTGTG?
Yeah, that's mental.
Wow.
I've got a question for you.
Shoot, my friend.
If, right?
Yes.
Police, SWAT, fucking anything was about, well, not anything, but law enforcement was about to break through that door and just fucking cuff you and accuse you of murder, rape, you name it. Like, they throw you in jail. There's nothing you can do. You're in jail. 30 years later, they let you out and they say, oh, we're sorry, we were wrong. How much compensation would you want?
To be honest, mate, I'd be so fucking angry that my mind wouldn't even be thinking about compensation. I'd be thinking about getting even.
Yeah.
I'd probably do a whole fucking old boy thing and just start murdering everyone. Or have you ever seen Law-Abiding Citizen?
No, I've heard it's really good though.
It's a pretty cool movie. I'd just go full law-abiding citizen, mate. I'd just start murdering corrupt officials left, right, and centre, or just officials for anything. Like, oh, I'm an official fucking, I don't know, nerd. I read comics. Dead. Just if you say you're official anything, you're dead, mate. Just to get back at the system.
Somebody walked in. That's it. I officially have cancer, and then you just jump in behind them. You fucked.
Just go punch me like, hang on a minute, my job's done there. No, I'd be so angry. I'd want to get even. Any way as possible. I don't know. That's just me. I'm a hardcore dude.
Okay, but if you were going to accept money,
30 years.
Yes,
I would
30
like
years.
enough money that I could enjoy the rest of my life. And I mean, like, really enjoy it. If I wanted to go and fucking, like, buy a private jet and fly to fucking America for an evening just to have a burger or something like that, I want enough money to do that. I want millions to just to see out the rest of my life so that I'm happy. And if I start a family in those times, I want to be able to have them have the rest of the money and you know, have them have an easy life and stuff.
Yeah.
Because 30 years is a long time for something that you didn't do, and
I know it's
so I'd want some extreme compensation.
it's happened to people as well.
I know it has, yeah.
So I did some research because I was talking about this at work, and I got really interested in it. So the average compensation in America is $50,000 for every year you were in there.
Wow.
So if you were in there for 30 years, you would get $1,500,000, and I feel like that is massively under what I would want.
Yeah.
But like, how much money can the state really give out?
See, $50,000 in America, that's like, what, an average wage? I think it should be more than that.
It should be a lot more.
Yeah, definitely. It should be like at least twice that. Because it's not just the years you missed out. It's the whole fucking principle of it. Like you never should have had to miss out on those years.
Yeah.
And I feel like there should be a massive compensation.
So one thing I found interesting is that when I was looking at all these different states and what they would give, California's was worded differently.
All right.
And instead of per year, they said per day. And they'll give you $100 for every day that you were in there, which sounds awesome. But I did the maths, and it's $1,095,000. So that's like $400,000 below what the average is.
That's ridiculous.
And they just make it sound nicer because it's like for every day.
I think it should be adjusted for inflation as well, because like $100 a day when you first got banged up, that might be a brilliant like to live on. And then obviously you got money left over to enjoy yourself. But by the time you come out, the economy could suck so bad that $100 a day don't cut it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Ridiculous.
It should be enough that you don't have to worry about money ever again for the rest of your life, because you won't be that long, would it? And I feel like your family should get some compensation for it as well, because it's not just your life they've ruined. They've ruined if you're married, they've ruined your wife's life. Your wife's life. She might have left you
time with children you didn't get.
Yeah, exactly. It should be a hefty compensation, especially if it's their fault.
See, what I think they're doing is basically saying if you were not in prison and you were a working man, like on average you would get this much a year, so we're just giving you the money that you would have earned, which is fair enough. But it should be more. It should be like if you spent 30 years in prison, you should be able to live the rest of your life in the top 1%.
Yeah.
Like you should be in the lap of luxury for the rest of your life. Like the guy who owns the prison, I can't remember what he's called. The
warden.
Yeah, the warden should come and buff your nuts twice a day for that. Yeah,
definitely.
Like
the warden and every guard that ever was mean to you and stuff like that should all have to be a formal apology and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely.
I bet the only reason the compensation isn't as good as that is because it deters people from trying that just to get a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think if it should be like, because obviously someone's going to team up with someone who has the power to put you in prison, just so that they can wrongfully, imprison you, and then you get to split the money with that guy later and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like getting all the money that you should have earned from a regular job for those 30 years, that should be a given, and then on top of that, it should be compensation. That shouldn't be compensation. You've earned that right for just living. You would have earned that anyway. You might have even earned more if you've got some decent skills.
Yeah, but it just really annoys me. Like, clearly I've thought about this a lot because it's just so unfair.
And like in our world as well as society, things move so fast. You've missed out on 30 years of culture.
Yeah,
it's so hard to readjust. A lot of people who spent that long in prison end up back in prison because they just can't handle how much life has changed. Imagine people who went to prison like before mobile phones were a thing and they've just got out like yesterday and everyone's got fucking smartphones. Yeah. There's more power in our smartphones than NASA had when they put a man on the fucking moon.
Oh, wow.
How can you live with like just coming out of that sort of technology now when you went in when nothing was around? People were getting the news from a radio in the house, and now we've got fucking TVs that you can't even tell it's a TV. It blends into your fucking wall, and suddenly a picture comes on.
It's so crazy. In that same vein of conversation, whilst doing research on this, I found a case of a guy who wanted freedom so badly, wanted to get out from prison for this thing that he didn't do. He gave up his compensation. He got no compensation.
Wow.
So basically what happened, there's these two guys. They've got the same name, except last name. I can't remember. Like, clearly I should have taken some notes. But they didn't like each other, basically. And some girl got murdered near both their houses. And the police said that if anybody can find any evidence connecting the crime to the suspect, such as the murder weapon, which was a knife, we will compensate you like 10,000, 1,000, something like that.
Right.
So this guy was like, oh shit, ran in his house, grabbed a knife, went outside, threw it in the grass, and then called the police and said, "Oh, I just found this switchblade near the woman that was killed, that was died." And so the police come and ask him loads of questions, and he's like, "Oh, well, I've put myself in it now," so he just keeps answering questions, and like he knows a lot more about this crime than he should know. So he says, "Oh, I know who did it. This knife was stolen from my house because it had his fingerprints on it, and it was stolen by the other guy who he doesn't like."
Yeah.
So the police take this other guy in and they arrest him, and he goes to prison for a long time. And then DNA technology advances, and they do DNA tests on the two guys. Neither of their DNA was found on the scene. It wasn't their semen inside the girl that was raped and murdered. So they say, okay, we can let you let you go. But I don't know how it happened, but this guy said, okay, I'll accept this bargain.
It was probably they were the government and the law enforcement now trying to cover their tracks because they just wrongfully imprisoned a dude.
Well, see, this I can't remember the word for it, but there's like a loophole where if he accepts that he's guilty for the crime, they'll let him go, but they don't have to compensate him, and they don't have to change their records. So he still has a criminal record. Like at the point of the video, he couldn't get any work. He was like babysitting for his brother and mowing some lawns here and there because that's all he could do. And well, obviously he hasn't got much money and his life sucks. But at least he's not in prison anymore.
Yeah.
But he didn't get the compensation he deserves, and the killer of that woman
is still out there.
Is still out there because the record states that this guy is the killer. So it just saves the prison loads of hassle.
I bet if they picked up the killer now, they'd just they'd let him go because then they'd be like,
exactly. Like if he came out and said, "Oh, I'd committed this crime," they'd be like, "Oh, well, no, we've already got the guy."
yeah, like they just look at him dead in the eye, and be like, "No, you didn't. We've got the guy." And the guy's all like, "No, I didn't. You've got the guy." And just walks off. Like, well, all right, fair enough.
Yeah.
God.
But yeah, I thought that was really interesting. I apologise for not noting anything down.
It's all right.
I think it's called The Cost of Freedom or something on YouTube. You might be able to find it.
I've got a fun story.
Yep.
If you look at my moustache, can you see that one side's longer than the other?
Yes.
Do you know what? Would you like to know what happened?
Yeah.
I burnt it.
You burnt it?
I burnt my moustache. I was smoking a rollie, right? And you know rollies are infamous for blowing out when there's a gust of wind.
Right, yeah.
And I've not been sleeping properly, right? So I was like, there was only like 2 or 3 drags left on it. For some reason, my brain was like, you got to relight it, Ash. So I pulled up my lighter, clicked it, my whole face just lit up, mate. It was only this part of my fucking mustache here, like as small as my fingertip, but it just lit up my whole face. It was on fire, and I was blinded and everything. So I quickly patted it out with my left hand while my cig was in my right hand. And I was like, well, that's fucking annoying, but I'm going to smoke this anyway. I just relit it. When it pulled it to my mouth, and the last 3 drags had turned all black, and it just scattered away in the wind. And I was like, so I didn't even get to smoke it after all. I was threw in the bin.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And then this morning, while I was trimming my cheeks, I sneezed and I went down too far on one side, so I had to go too far down on the other side just to even it out. And I had a good week with my beard, mate. I swear down.
I need to do some beard trimmings. Yeah, maintenance. My beard grows weird. Like the right hand third of the lower part of my beard grows towards the left, and then the 2/3 on the left grow towards the right, and they sort of clash in the middle. And for some reason, that middle bit is longer than anywhere else. So I always have this really long bit which like loops around, and then it's like a hook. And I can't stop playing with it. And like I always have the urge to cut it off, but then every time I do, it's just impossible to get my head around how my beard works.
Yeah.
Because like the way it grows, because then suddenly that's way too short. So then I start like trimming around it, and then end up with no beard at all. So I stop fucking with it now.
Yeah. No, my beard don't grow as uniform as I'd like it to.
Yeah, you always see those people that have like the beard, they look like they're from Overwatch or something. Like the beards are so
beautiful,
like flat and like shaped. And you try and do it with your own, and it's impossible. Like,
yeah,
I don't know how they do it.
Either they just looked out in the genetics pool for growing a beard, or they've spent a lot of time in the morning getting that looking right.
Yeah, but like every day.
Every day.
It's so.
To be fair, the only people I've seen that have really good beards like that are like models and stuff. So I assume they did spend a few hours a day doing that.
Well, Dom from Bantam's Banter, his beard is like, it's always like, it's got a hard edge to it. You know what I mean? Like mine's like this soft, rounded shape, and if I try and put a hard edge in it, it's just not going to happen.
It might get cut at a barber shop.
Well, it probably does, to be fair, but
I don't know.
But yeah, there's a lot of people at work that have beards like that as well, and it's like, how do you even do that? Because it's like perfectly straight, but I've got all these like twisted pube hairs and shit coming up my face. And
they might use products and stuff, like you can get like a balm type thing for your beard. Maybe it's that.
I have beard oil.
Yeah,
but I had to stop using it because I cannot stop playing with my beard while I'm working. And then I end up with really greasy, oily hands from doing it. And
beard oil doesn't really, I don't know, is it supposed to straighten your beard? I just use it to keep it.
It doesn't do anything for mine at all. It just makes it look a bit shinier.
I just use it mainly just to keep it healthy.
Yeah.
Because I play with my beard a lot as well, and the more you play with it, the less drier it gets and stuff. So I like to keep it healthy.
So, moving on from that.
Because we don't do grooming tips
and shit. Yeah. Annoying thing that has been happening to me this week. So, as some of you may know, I have sleep apnea.
Mm-hmm.
So on some mornings, my sleep was not satisfactory. So I have to try and compensate for that when I'm getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning to go to work by grabbing a can of Monster on the way, and I'll like drink that, and that'll just give me the kickstart I need to be able to function enough to work in the morning. But the past few days, because I always go to self-service, and every time it's like said that I need permission to buy one of the items that I'm buying.
Right.
So I'll usually get a lunch meal deal and a Monster. But this morning, I asked the guy why it keeps doing that. Why does it keep asking me for permission? And he said, energy drinks are age restricted now.
Really?
Yep. Well, I don't know what age they're restricted to. It's probably like 16 or something. But the fact that you need to be ID'd.
I don't know where this whole stigma for like fucking energy drinks has come from.
Yeah.
You hear stories like, a girl went out and she smashed 10 Jaeger bombs and
Oh,
she had
I
a heart
remember
attack.
that.
And it's like,
I remember that. That was so silly.
yeah, and then me and you were just woken up from a night where we had like 50 Jaeger bombs each.
Yeah, that's what we would do. Like, we would drink pure... Like, we'd go a whole night and only drink Jaeger bombs because we love the taste of Monster so much.
Yeah, or just energy drink, any energy drink with Jaeger in it is delicious.
Yeah,
I love Jägermeister anyway. I could probably just shot it straight.
Yeah.
But
I think Jaeger and rum are my go-to drinks nowadays.
I don't know, I love a good whiskey.
As opposed to my cider days. Our cider days, we drank nothing.
There was only our cider days because you wouldn't drink anything else, and I was like, all right, you're my bro.
Yeah.
I'll accommodate.
Yeah.
Can't drink cider now. If someone held a gun on my head and was like, drink this pint of cider or I'm going to blow your fucking brains out. And I'm like, listen, mate, make sure you make a beautiful image on the ground because I cannot drink that. Make sure my brain's like paint the Mona Lisa or something, mate. Make it worth it.
Yeah. But, it's definitely a gateway drink. And, like...
I suppose so.
Because back then, like, I couldn't even drink beer without being like, ew, why do people drink alcohol? It's gross. But
that's exactly what it sounded
like. I was very homosexual back then, apparently. So cider, like, just tasted like apple juice, so it was, like, an easy way in.
Like a really gross apple juice.
Yeah, like, if I drink it now, all I can taste is the years of vomit that came out of my body from drinking it.
The only cider I can drink now, but only, like, maybe one bottle, if any more than that, and I just start getting in that mood where I'm like, man, I'm going to throw up, is Copperberg.
Yeah, Copperberg.
Because it just tastes like a soft drink.
It definitely does.
But even after, like, one or two of those, I'm
Copperberg's
like,
nice with a meal, but, like, I wouldn't go a whole night drinking only Copperberg. Like.
We used to, though, didn't we?
Yeah.
Or was it Record League?
Recorder League, yeah, which is the cheap... Well, it was a cheap version, but then people started buying it so much to avoid paying Copperberg prices that it's now more expensive than Copperberg.
Supply and demand, man. It's ruthless.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. My poison is still a good whiskey, even though I've had so many awful fucking nights with whiskey. You weren't. We had a party, didn't we? And probably I've already explained it a fucking 100 times on the podcast, but the time I drank like 1.5 liters of whiskey, and it just fucking killed me.
Yeah, we had that episode where we literally just talked about our
I still love whiskey.
drinking antics.
I've noticed that I can't really drink Jack Daniels as much though. I prefer Someone Come First, something like that. Something that's just a bit more sweeter than Jack Daniels.
Yeah,
because I was drinking Jack Daniels when it killed me off.
Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? Like, the main reason we can't drink cider anymore is because we pushed the limit a bit.
It's like someone just asked the dude to vomit in a can and just started selling it. Like,
yeah,
here you go, mate.
It's so grim. So, following on from, I don't know, I was trying to segue this. I had it was on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah.
But anyway, something stupid I read today was that Xbox One users can, as of May, expect to be banned if they swear.
Yep. I've heard this. They want to curtail swear words and shit like that. It's like,
yeah, that's the exact wording I saw in the article.
Yeah. Same article I saw.
So stupid. Well, to be fair, Xbox does have the reputation of like little kids saying they're gonna fuck your mum, sort of thing. But like, imagine your account being banned. Like, imagine, right, your PlayStation account with your 40. What is it? 45 trophies on it.
Platinum trophies. 5 trophies in general.
Right, you get slightly frustrated playing a game, And you go, oh, for fuck's sake. Next thing you know, your 44 trophies are in the fucking bin,
45
mate.
trophies.
45 trophies. You'll never see them again.
Yep.
You've got to start a new account.
Yep.
Also, how does that work with, like, Xbox Live? Like, do you have to set up a new subscription? Surely they're shooting themselves in the foot there. Because, like, your account gets suspended. You'd be like, well, fuck it, I'll go buy a PlayStation.
Probably, but they've already got your money for that year's PlayStation Xbox Live, so don't give a shit.
Unless it's, like, transferable.
Wasn't there already a thing about this where some guy bought an NBA game and he was playing by himself, but his connector was on and he was swearing to himself and stuff like that, and it muted him or something like that. Like it kept trying to mute him.
Yeah,
something
that
like
was
that.
The NBA game, though, wasn't it? It wasn't the system.
No, I think it was something built into the game. If you swore, the referee had fucking, I don't know what the equivalent is of like putting your dudes in a sin bin or a red card.
Disciplined, basically.
Yeah.
For bad language.
Yeah, and it was like, fuck off. Like, that's ridiculous. I don't. Overwatch have tried doing it as well. They've said that any esports member, if you're a part of an actual team, if you're caught on social media like being less than savoury, they'd ban your account and shit like that. And it's like, fuck off, mate. You can't do that to people. It's not your place to do that. You're not an authority. You just made a game.
Who are they paying to fucking data mine these people?
But it's just like, it's so, I don't know, like Orwellian.
That's like the fourth podcast in a row you've said that word now.
Life is getting Orwellian, mate. I don't like it. But they have no power to do that. Like, they can't just police how people behave on the internet.
Yeah.
The only power they've got is they've made a game that's admittedly a pretty good game for a while until you start getting on tilt, and then it's a bad game.
Yeah.
But they don't have any authority to like do shit like that. It's not up to them to police how people behave on the internet. No one should be able to do that. No one's allowed.
No, I agree. There's a lot of people at the moment, sort of like, who want control of the internet.
Yeah,
who want to be able to.
I think fair enough if they did it whilst playing an actual tournament and they was abusing people through the game. Yeah, ban the fuck out of them.
Yeah.
The same way YouTube dropped Logan Paul, it was up to them. It was on their platform.
Yeah.
If he said something on Facebook and YouTube was like, "Yo, we're dropping you," you'd be like, "Why? Fuck off! It's not your place to do that."
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think game companies as well, like Microsoft and Blizzard, they're overstepping the boundaries with shit like that. They've got no right, no authority to stop us from swearing and stuff like that.
No, I agree.
Like if we were playing Destiny online or something,
frustrating,
and we were just all like, "Oh mate, fucking, I don't know, Atheon's alright, fucking little pussy bitch," and then we just got our account got banned from that because it like auto fucking snapped it up. I'd be like, "Mate, fuck Sony."
Pardon me.
I'd never buy a Sony product ever again, mate.
But I feel like gaming is where most people
vent the frustrations.
Yeah, exactly. It's where they feel most comfortable swearing as well. Because like if you're at work all day and like you've got to mind your manners and shit, and then you're gonna go home and just like let that out.
Plus, right, swearing isn't always bad.
No, it's for emphasis.
The thing about swear words is they're versatile as fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck, for example.
Fuck can be used in so many ways.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a list to be made there, but it's for another time.
I'm sure there's videos I've seen where people have emphasizing it and stuff.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so like if you're just saying, "Oh mate, fuck me, that was good," and then you got banned for that.
Yeah, exactly.
People need to just stop.
Good fucking job, my friend.
Yeah, like totally fucking destroyed that raid or whatever the fuck we were doing. Like, fuck yeah, mate, we're all fucking legends and stuff. And it was all like, "You've been banned."
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like, "Oh, well, you're a set of cunts, mate."
I wonder if it's in response to Donald Trump sort of fucking resurfacing the idea that violence in video games is causing people to be killed. Like it's fucking 90s again.
I don't like talking about Trump anymore, is it?
No, it's going so down.
I can't believe he's still got supporters. I'm like, are you fucking blind?
Have you been on the Donald Trump Reddit?
No.
Subreddit. It's so funny. Like they've got their own like design on there and stuff, and there's a count of how many subscribers there are to the feed, and it says like 117,000 patriots, and there's a picture in the background of Donald Trump falling from the sky riding a shark.
Oh wow!
With like an AK-47 or something.
That's not even an American weapon.
It's so silly. It's so silly.
Like they couldn't have like gone for a Winchester or something. That's like a proper American rifle.
I'm no expert there.
How many people on there have subscribed just for shits and giggles though, and see how crazy it is? Versus,
well, I mean, it's funny when you first go there, but like you spend 5 minutes there and
it's ultimate cringe.
It's both cringe and just like frustration. It's like, how can people be this stupid, sort of thing.
I don't know, last thing I saw about Trump was that he was lying through his teeth, saying, "Yeah, loads of lawyers want to represent me in this like fucking case where." I think that he's going to court or something about how Russia had a hand in the elections.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, everyone wants to represent me. And then meanwhile, everyone's like, we don't want to represent him.
Why would you? You just wouldn't.
He's just a bullshitter, man. Anyway, I don't want to talk about politics.
Yeah. So we're coming towards the end of the podcast.
Cool.
Unfortunately, we don't have a game this time.
No.
It's been like a weird week. Like we're recording out of schedule and stuff. So
yeah.
But we do have a new segment, and I'd like to close with our new segment, which we've talked about doing. Our last episode was about trophy hunting, and I really enjoyed that. And I kind of want to make it a segment so that, like, down the line, we don't have another episode which is just all trophy hunting, where at the end we just sort of say, these are the 2 trophies I got recently, or whatever. And same format as that podcast, sort of like just talking about...
Trophy update.
Yeah, just talking about the game and like what it was like to plat.
Yeah. Do you want to go first?
Yeah. So I've got 2. One of them I've already talked about. So I 100%ed King's Quest, which I already said. I'll count that as a plat because if there was a platinum, I would have it.
Well, I think the trophy update should be for games we've got the platinum for and games we've got every trophy for, but there isn't a platinum.
Yeah, exactly. So King's Quest, I've done. The next one is Senua's Sacrifice.
Oh, I was here for this one.
Yeah, so... Well, no, you weren't here for the plat, but...
No, but...
You sat with me...
Technically, if things went our way, it would have been a plat.
So you sat with me throughout the entire game.
Yeah. Pissing you off.
Yeah, pissing me off. We won't talk about that, but you did piss me off. I
think we should talk about it.
And there was like at a point where we decided to just get a guide up for the Lawstone things.
Yeah.
So you were sat telling me...
Yeah, I was telling you where to go because obviously if you'd have watched the video, it would have been like spoilers and all that shit.
Yeah, well, what was nice about it was that I would play the game as I would play the game, but then when I was near a Lawstone, you were just like, oh, turn around, this one there. Yeah. And then I'd carry on like playing the game blind. So it wasn't like you were saying, oh, you need to go here and do this.
After this part of the story happens, there's one there.
Exactly. Which I wouldn't have been able to do if I was doing it alone. Like, I would have just been riddled with spoilers. I think the game was pretty cool. Like, there was some really cool mechanics in it, which at first I was really stubborn because there was spectators to the game, so I didn't want to put headphones in, even though it told me to.
Yeah.
So I was like trying to share the experience, but it's not a game you can really share if you want to enjoy the full experience. But basically, we got to the end and we got every single Lawstone that was in the guide. Like, we got all of them. And it glitched out. And I finished the game and there was one left. And I checked which one it was, and it was the very last Lawstone in the game, like right at the end. And I looked at the guide to see which one it was, and it was one that I got. And then when we realised there was one missing, that was one of the ones I went back to check because it was like right at the end and it was accessible. And I definitely had it because I checked it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I ended up having to play the game through all over again just to get it.
But at least you got to go through again and with the headphones on.
Yeah. So at first I was just getting really pissed off because I was like, they're forcing me to play. Well, not forcing me. I wanted the trophy basically, and I was annoyed that it glitched out, and that was the only reason I was going through it again. I'd already seen the story like a day or two ago, and the cutscenes were unskippable and really long. Like, it got to a point where I'd be like messaging you while I was doing it, and I'd look at when my last message was, and it'd been like I'd been talking to you for like 10 minutes while the cutscene was playing, and then I'd play for 2 minutes, and then I'd be talking to you again.
Yeah.
because like I felt like I'd played 1 hour for 3 hours of gameplay, which was silly.
Quick question about...
But then when I put the headphones in, I really enjoyed it. Like the binaural thing was awesome. It was really, really cool.
So, quick question about Senua's Sacrifice. Do you think it's worthy of all the craze and critical acclaim it's got on that?
If you look at it as though it's a AAA game,
yeah,
I'd say no, because there are better ones. But when you look at it and say this was an indie game, a very small team made this self-published. Look at all the other people who've done that. Look at their games.
Yeah,
this is like a diamond in the rough sort of thing. It is.
I
incredible game.
I really enjoyed it for how simple it was with the combat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I thought the puzzles were pretty cool. Like perspective puzzles and shit.
I really like perspective puzzles. It brought me back to my Pokemon Snap days.
Yeah, and I thought it was really cool how they handled her psychosis.
Yeah,
I like how they made you a participant, like another voice in her head. Well, not a voice, but another, like a presence there.
Yeah,
like it brought you into her world. I thought it was pretty cool. But anyway, is there another trophy you got? Or was that it?
No. But I just wanted one of the things that I was having difficulty with the first time I'm playing was doing the combat.
Yeah,
and it wasn't until I got to like I can't remember what it was called. There was like a bloody river. It has a name in the game, but I can't remember what it is. Yeah, but anyway, it's Sea of Souls.
It was something like that. Yeah.
It wasn't until I got there that I got the hang of like countering.
Combat, yeah. What do you think of the soundtrack during that bit where you're fighting all this like almost endless swarm of guys?
Well, there was a lot of things that I couldn't hear
first time around
until I put the headphones on.
Yeah,
and then when I heard the music, I was like, "Oh, this is really cool."
It's got like a really like triumphant yet somber sound to it. Like
it's also like really primitive, but cinematic.
Yeah, I really like that.
Love about it.
Do you want to go through? I've only got 2 plats as well. Do you want to talk about those?
Go ahead. Go.
So I platted Beyond Two Souls.
Oh.
Which I have a lot to say about the game. Mainly that I'm just more upset that it wasn't better than it was.
Yeah.
And like obviously it's Ellen Page in it.
Well, I think that when the game came out, that was everybody's sort of take on it.
I understood what they mean.
Better.
I feel like I'd have enjoyed it first time round if I played in chronological order, which you should totally do, because playing through how they intended it, you just don't give a shit. It's such a mess.
When it came out, I watched a couple of episodes of some YouTuber playing it.
Yeah.
And then a few episodes in, I was like, I don't want to play this, but I'll finish watching them play it. So I never actually bothered to get it.
You start off right where I think the very first chapter you're doing the experiment, I think, with Aiden, and you can fuck everything up.
Mm-hmm.
And then immediately, like, because obviously in the original order that they want you to play through, the next chapter you play through is like, she's grown up already, she's part of the CIA, and he's like, fucking what, man? So I feel like I would have enjoyed it more in chronological order. And if it wasn't so handholdy, it was very like, go here, press these buttons, and it's like, oh, you've completed a chapter, well done.
Yeah.
I didn't like the fact that Ellen Page was in it, because I just saw, every time I saw her face, I was like, oh yeah, it's Ellen Page. Man, this would be an amazing movie if she got to just fully act out the whole thing. I feel like if they just got her voice and her motion capture and made an entirely new character that wasn't her, I wouldn't have had that problem.
Yeah. In light of that and what Heavy Rain was like, what do you think this Detroit Become Human's going to be like?
Well, technology's come along since then, so
it does look really good. There's like 3 storylines. And
yeah. I'm hoping it's going to be much better.
I don't want to pay for it, though.
I think I'm going to take the risk and do it.
All right. Well, if it's that good, then I'll probably get it.
Another problem.
God of War's coming out soon, so fuck everything else.
So many good games coming out this year. I'm really looking forward to that Days Gone. Anyway, trophies. Trophy.
Your next trophy.
One other thing about Beyond Two Souls is I feel like it would have been much better if it was more open. Like if you could, like I can't really have a game to compare it to, but just more open. So like you're not it's not very clear where you're going. Like you go and discover things yourself, and figure out what to do that way.
Like King's Quest.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
Just more open. And it'd be much better if you just played from one character's perspective.
Yeah.
Like you could play through as Aiden and just completely. You can be really nice and help her out, or you can just be a complete arsehole, and then you've got no control over her actions. Then,
yeah,
because like you play as both of them, and you could go through and want to be put as evil as possible with every chance you get as Aiden, and then you play as her. You can pick up a knife, and then she goes to like try and commit suicide, but you can stop her at the last second, and it's kind of like. In a normal situation, she probably would have fucking gone for it if you didn't press the button to stop her.
Yeah.
So I feel like it would have been much more powerful and have more of a point if it was more you want to play as Aiden, and it's up to you to either give her a nice life and help her out as much as you can, or be a complete dick to her.
Yeah.
It's just very conflicting playing both of them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. Overall, it's not a bad game. It's just not a good game. It's not a great game. And then my second trophy was Lara Croft Go.
Oh, yeah.
Which was much better than I was anticipating.
I got that because you got this trophy.
Yeah.
I haven't played it yet.
It's an easy trophy list, but it was a fun little game to play. Like, I'm not going to go back to it and ever play it again. But for just those few hours that I played it, it was pretty decent and fun. Like, the puzzles obviously started off really easy, and then the more you played it, the more it introduced more mechanics, and it got harder and harder. And other than... There's no like trophies for getting through the levels and stuff like that. You get trophies for finding like hidden relics and stuff.
Yeah,
and they are pretty well hidden.
Pardon me.
And other than that, there's like maybe 3 trophies that are miscellaneous trophies for doing certain things.
Right.
It's an easy plat, but it was a nice game to play. It's Did you play Hitman Go?
No, but I bought that alongside Lara Croft Go.
Well, Hitman Go is very much like a board game. You just got little
I've
Hitman
seen you play it, I think.
pieces. But this one, she's like fully animated and stuff, and there's this really cool thing that happens where if you pull yourself up on a ledge, there's like a very slight possibility where she does the old Tomb Raider thing where she like does a full-on handstand and then like bends over.
Yeah,
and I saw that, I was like,
cool.
Mate, that was in the other games. But yeah, those are my 2 recent trophies. I'm now at 45. I'm getting close to 50. I'm looking forward to it.
Your rank is 11,000.
Yeah, 11,200 and something. I think
in all of Great Britain.
Yeah.
So,
like, I think
close
four more games. If I plat 4 more games,
you'll be in the top 10,000.
I'll be in the top 10,000.
That's pretty cool. Let's just have a look at.
Yeah, I don't know if you said what game you're working on platting next, but for me, I'm working on platting Gravity Rush. I'm going to try and plat Gravity Rush for the PlayStation 4 and the Vita simultaneously.
I've got a few. Like, there's not one that I'm actively working on at the moment,
right?
But I'm sort of saving them to talk about next episode. So
okay, fair enough.
So you're currently at 11,200th in Great Britain and 92,000th
in the world.
I am 37,000th in Great Britain and 322,000th in the world.
Yeah, it's gone down again when you're like 355,000 for a bit. Like when we did the trophy update progress thing episode, even. That was a fucking clusterfuck.
You have 3,200 trophies and I have 1,500, which is about half. I have 68 games and you have 162, which is not half.
Yeah.
But I removed a load of games from my trophy list so that my completion rate would go up. So mine's 47%, but yours is only 43%.
Yeah.
So it looks like I'm better than you, but I'm not.
I just have more games. I did stop trophy hunting for a while.
Yeah. You've got double the bronze trophies that I have.
Yeah.
Anyway.
There's people above me, obviously in the England ranking, that have got like maybe 2 platinums, but because they've played so many games, they've got thousands of bronze trophies.
So they're just there by default. That's
yeah, the ranking's based on your XP.
Overall trophies.
You're not overall trophies, but your XP.
Oh, yeah. I see.
You rank up.
You're like level 20.
Yeah.
And I'm level 14.
Yeah, there's people that are above me that are like level 40 and they've not even got one single plat just because they've played so many games.
Mate.
So,
well, they probably will have had like a PS3 since it came out.
Yeah. But that's how I know like how many games I've got to 100% or plat to get to the next level.
Yeah.
Because it tells you how much XP you need to go to get to the next level and stuff like that. and it also tells you how much XP you get from per game. And I just looked at the top 10,000 and I was like, right, I need to be at least this XP level together.
Right, yeah.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to being in the top 10,000.
Yeah. So, next episode, I've got a few games to talk about. I obviously bought some games from Easter Sale, which I want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been playing A Way Out together.
We have.
And we will talk extensively about that next episode. So thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed it. You can find us on iTunes, YouTube, and our website. And you can find all those things from our Twitter, which is at UT2cast. It's the central hub of our ecosystem.
Yeah, you're probably a smart guy or girl if you can figure it out.
For you.
Just realised when I get to top 10,000, my next goal from there is like top 5,000.
Yeah, good luck with that.